I'm really getting into sewing in a big way. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for Bland Designs, and this is my weekly vlog, and it's vlog number 50. 2 more to go until I've got a straight 52 weeks, 1 year. And it is Tuesday as opposed to Monday, December the 26th, 2017. And this is Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, and thus the reason why I didn't do a vlog yesterday on Monday, because it was Christmas. And I'm sure everybody had better things to do than to watch a vlog. So, what have we been up to? Well, you know that I was into the perler bead business, and I've made different little things. So last week I decided to make something a little larger, and I made a butterfly. And now I showed you that butterfly, but I said I thought that I might mount it as a mixed media piece, and I did. Now I had this canvas sitting around that I was experimenting with 3 colors of gesso, and I just did it all through a stencil. So I got this out and I added the color, and I added some metallic rubbing in the background, and you get a little bit of a shine there. And I mounted the butterfly onto this canvas, and I raised it up a little bit so it sticks out just a hair from the surface of the canvas. And you know, I think it turned out kind of nice. So, not done with the perler beads. We got our big jar of 22,000 beads. So let me put that behind me. And Walter has discovered a method for sorting those out that's a little faster than just using your fingers. I'm not really sure how this little device works, but we saw it on YouTube. It's just a drinking straw, like a large drinking straw, the kind of thing you get in a fast food restaurant. And you put some tape on the end of it, and so I guess you just kind of stick it in and it picks up the beads and you drop them wherever. Anyways, Walter says it works really well. So whatever, he's the one that's sorting out the 22,000 beads. It's not me, so whatever makes it easier for him, I'm all for that. So that's the perler beads, and of course I was sewing again. Now, I designed, need a little coffee here. I sort of watched a bunch of videos on different tote bags and things like that, and I decided to make a tote bag using my fabric, the fabric that I printed in my own computer, and some other fabric that I bought, and I wanted pockets on the outside of the bag. So I kind of watched other videos that were doing this sort of thing, but I kind of went ahead and did my own thing. Maybe I shouldn't have. Now, at first glance, this bag turned out quite nice, as you can see. This is my printed paper, or printed fabric. Now, it kind of goes all the way down in here, but then I decided to put this pocket on it. Now here's where things went a little wrong. It's still functional. My intent was to put a pocket on the front, and with 3 sections. So you can see I stitched, and so there's a pocket, there's another pocket. And then this backing piece was going to be sewn to the bag, and then another line of stitching down here just to secure it in. So it would be these 3 little pockets across the front. I forgot to do the sewing part of this inside. So the side that is my backing here is not attached to the bag, except through the seams. So we've got, bonus, I got a large pocket here, 3 small pockets here. The only thing is you can see my interfacing on here, but it's pretty much secured in there. It's not going anywhere, so we're all right. And I did the same on the back side. Okay, so 3 pockets, the big pocket, and then of course the bag itself. The bag is lined, and it almost came out perfect except the bottom. I'm still having trouble. Well, I'm not. I finally figured it out. But on this bag, I didn't get the nice squared bottom. I somehow pinched again the wrong thing. but it still works. And it's kind of fun, and I think it's kind of attractive. Now, I was watching on the Christmas Eve day. I wasn't feeling really well that day, which was unusual for me. Excuse me. I don't know what it was. I wasn't really sick. I don't know. It's Christmas. Christmas gets me. I'm not a fan, as you know. But anyways, I got watching some videos about how to do these boxed corners. And I decided to try a different method. Now, this bag is like a take your wine sort of bag to parties. That I did this in half an hour. I just took this piece of material, I folded it in half, I cut it down. I didn't really measure anything too seriously. And then I used my serger. And I went around the top and the edge. I serged the handles on it as well. And I serged the seams. Now you will notice that my thread is red and green. That's because that's what was in my serger. That's what I was using when I made my Christmas napkins. And I was too lazy to bother to re-thread the whole serger. And I have done that since then. And thank you, Linda Tarr, for sending me a message and letting me know an easy way to do it. I did try that, and I still had to go and re-thread it again because I ran into a problem with one of the needles. But anyways, enough said. Thank you for the advice, though, because it does work. And I create this bag. Now, here's what I was really trying to practice, and I did it. I've got boxed corners. And you know, the video that I saw, it must have been just the other videos I watched, because she didn't do anything that I hadn't seen before, but for some reason in this particular video that I saw, it made a heck of a lot more sense. In fact, the video was not on YouTube. It was on one of the DVDs that I had bought on the Black Friday sale at Interweave about sewing zippers and bags and things like that. And when I used this method, I got a great bottom. So this is not a lined bag. So I hope I can duplicate this the next bag that I make. But I've got a lot of bags now. I should have a bag sale. But it's fun, and I learn something every time that I do it. So, speaking of learning things, you saw the perler bead butterfly that I showed you off at the beginning, and I've been talking about it a lot. Well, I went to a site called Pixel Art. Now, I mentioned this in Stephen and Walter Live one week. This guy sells his creations, and he's an interesting character, and he's got some really inspiring pieces. So I've inserted right here for you to see my review of his YouTube channel. As you know, I've recently got into perler beads. Perler beads are little beads that you place on a pegboard to make wonderful designs and pictures and things like that, and then you fuse them together using a hot iron. Now, I knew nothing about this product until I was floating through the YouTube channels one day, and I came across this particular channel called Pixel Art Shop. Now, the person who puts this up is a very serious artist using perler beads as his medium. He does everything from animated characters from video games right up to portraits of famous people. I believe he sells these. Some of them are extremely intricate, very large, and they're fascinating. He himself, as a presenter, is very interesting to watch. He's humorous, but at the same time he gives you some very important tips on how to work with perler beads. So I strongly suggest that if you want to get into perler bead creation, that you check out this YouTube channel called the Pixel Art Shop and explore all the various things that you can do with these tiny little elements. So I've put the link for that YouTube channel in the comments below so you can check it out a little bit more thoroughly, especially if you're into perler beads. He does wonderful things. And what else? I have a couple of other links down there. One is to an altered chipboard swap by MissPurplePotato. MissPurplePotato is Jody, I believe, in California or Colorado. Okay, sorry, Jody, I'm getting this all screwed up, and I don't have my notes that I use from Stephen and Walter Live to check. But anyways, I was talking about one of my ideas was to do inspiration ideas to take a clipboard and do it as a mixed media canvas. on the clipboard. Not a new sensational idea, I just have never done one. Well, she has. And so she linked me to her YouTube channel that showed what she had made. And so I have put that link below. Check out what Miss Purple Potato did. Hers is beautiful. It really is beautiful and great inspiration as well. So check that out. The link's below for Miss Purple Potato. What else? Well, while I'm talking about inspiration things, I might as well jump right into that right now. One thing I've seen people do, I haven't tried it yet, is take a face in a magazine and paint over it. Use it as a guide and you create your own kind of character or whatever. There is no way I can draw faces. In fact, I was watching a video the other day, one of the ones that I bought, about doing faces with Julie Fafay-Balzer, and I'm sure you know who that is. And if you don't, I've talked about her numerous times, and it's easy to find her on the internet and all kinds of places. But she really loves to do faces, and so she showed you a simple technique for creating a face, which I will give a try and see what kind of goofy thing I have. But the idea with the magazine picture is you actually paint on it. So you have a nice portrait and you add your own paints and markers and all over it, kind of a thing, and it becomes almost cartoonish. But it's kind of interesting because it becomes sort of abstract as well. Now, I haven't tried that yet, so I'm going to give that a try. And then I'm still playing with the idea of doing a quilted piece, but simply from fabric scraps. Now, you know that I made that banner with the butterflies on it, and that was made from scraps. But what I'm thinking here is actually using the scraps to create tinier pieces that'll be put together, a quilt method, and build my squares from that. A little bit finer work, a little bit more finicky, I think. So I'm watching YouTube videos about this kind of thing and how people go about it, and I'm going to give that a try at some point. That'll be a work in progress over a long period of time, I think. I just have to get started. So those are some inspiration ideas. So what's pissing me off this week? Well, it's been Christmas, and everybody at Christmas is filled with Christmas love and humor and feel good for mankind and all that kind of stuff. And of course, what do people say? Merry Christmas. Oh, put the brakes on right there. You are not allowed to say Merry Christmas to just anybody. You may use Merry Christmas if you're absolutely sure that the people you are addressing come from a Christian background and celebrate Christmas. Otherwise, to be on the safe side, because you do not want to insult somebody from the Jewish faith, you do not want to insult somebody who might be celebrating Kwanzaa, all that kind of stuff. So you don't say Merry Christmas. You want to play it safe. You want to play it politically correct. You've got to say Happy Holidays. That catches everything. Why does this piss me off? Well, it goes back to what I said many vlogs before about political correctness in our society and all that kind of stuff. When I was a school teacher, that was a biggie. We weren't supposed to say Merry Christmas. We were supposed to say Happy Holidays because we had kids that came from all backgrounds and things like that. Okay, I get it. But why get so uptight about it? I say Merry Christmas because that's the tradition that I come from. If you say Happy Hanukkah, that's fine. If I say to you Merry Christmas and you say back to me Happy Hanukkah, no problem. I don't take offense if you say Happy Hanukkah or Happy Kwanzaa to me. I would say Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa back to you. Simple as that. It's not a biggie. So what's pissing me off about this? It's because institutions like schools, like the government, anything in the public sector, get all uptight about using Merry Christmas. They want to be politically correct. And because they get uptight, we get uptight because then we think we're doing something wrong. Well, we're not doing anything wrong. You have to take the greeting in the sense that it's delivered. Whether you say Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, or whatever, the whole point there is there's that word happy in there. And it's a greeting. And it's meant to be friendly and nice to somebody else when you say that. So if they say Happy Hanukkah to me, it's the same as saying Merry Christmas. Okay? It's not a big deal. So I don't understand why our governments, our public institutions, make a big stink out of it. Why? It's not a problem. I have never run into somebody that I have said Merry Christmas to who may not celebrate Christmas. I've never had them come back at me and jump all over my head because I said Merry Christmas. Never happened. And I don't think it ever will, because people understand that it's just a friendly greeting. It's like saying hello, thank you, please, whatever. It's just good manners to put it down to that. So take it in the sense that it is delivered in and move on with your day. So the other thing that's pissing me off is Christmas cards. Now, in the last few years, I've gotten less and less Christmas cards. Is that because everybody knows dying? No. It is because of, in this country, how much it costs to send a Christmas card. It's $1. It costs $1 to mail, by snail mail, a Christmas card. That's ridiculous. So 10 cards cost you $10. Most people send out, like, I used to send out probably 50 cards. $50, not to mention the cost of the cards on top of it all. Well, for what? For a piece of paper that someone's going to look at. It'll sit around their house during the Christmas holidays, probably when they're cleaning up their Christmas decorations. They're going to take it and pitch it in the garbage. Bang. So I cut back on the number of cards that I would mail. I would hand deliver a lot of them. Now, that was in the days when I was teaching, so a lot of the people I knew that I was sending Christmas cards to were people I worked with. So it was easy. I took them into the school with me and put them in their mailboxes, and bang, that was over with. A few others were for neighbors or friends that didn't live too far away, so again, I would hand deliver them. But it still is a lot. I mean, it's just one more thing on your list. Now, I know in the old days, it was just considered the thing you had to do. People looked down their nose if you had not sent out your Christmas cards by such and such a date. It was a whole thing there. And so, of course, I know some people like to write a little note in them, that kind of thing, or enclose a little newsletter. Ugh, newsletters, don't get me going on that. That's a whole different ball game. When you get somebody's braggy little newsletter, as if we really cared about the fact that Great Aunt Molly came down in July, stayed with us for 3 days, and we all sat around and we talked about the good old days. Yeah, I don't care. But anyways, so this year I think I got about 6 Christmas cards, which is more than I figured. How many did I send out? Well, actually I did send out some. I wasn't going to send out any, and then there's a group of really close friends, and I thought, yeah, well, I made their cards. And I sent those to them. And of course, I got a card for my mother, I got a card for my sister, kind of a deal, and a card for Walter's sister's family, kind of a deal, and sent that out. But that's all I sent out. So I sent out 6 cards. That's about it. And that was it. I know a lot of people, what they're doing too, is sending electronic Christmas cards. Now, some of them are the ones, a few of our friends sent us electronic Christmas cards that come from one of those sites where it's animated and the whole bit and plays music and whatnot. And then others sent them out as a Facebook card, a general Facebook card to everybody that's on their Facebook. And that's fine. I did that for a couple of years too. I sent them out as an email kind of a thing. Did the graphic and sent that out. And in some ways I thought that was a little tacky, but it's the new way. And again, this goes back to what I said about saying Merry Christmas. It isn't the card or the format of the card. Whether you get it by snail mail, whether it comes to you by email, if it comes to you through Facebook, whatever. It's the thought. That's what's important about it. And environmentally it's sound because you don't have anything to throw out. So there you go. It's also cheaper, a lot cheaper. And that's fine. I think there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. I've done it myself. I will probably continue to do it because I'm definitely not going to be spending the money on stamps to send out these cards. Unless it's for a very special reason. Like I want to include a note and I know the person doesn't have, internet or, doesn't know how to use a computer. There are still a few people around like that. then that's how I'll deal with it. So as far as being pissed off, well, I'm glad Christmas is over. It's Boxing Day. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about where we're going today because it's kind of an amusing little story. It wasn't very amusing at the time. Well, it's still not amusing to me, but I'll tell you about that in a minute. Keep you guessing. So, what else? So that was what was pissing me off. Okay. Let's see. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, so what have I got that's new? Well, let's start with these. I ordered these back probably end of the summer. And this is a set of cards designed by a woman called Kayla Givehand. I think I may have told you about her YouTube channel. She does a lot of journal making and things like that. And these are called Mixed Media Inspiration Deck. And what's written on side of them are ideas to try. This one says, doodle a border around the edge of a surface. Another one says, go wild card. Okay, choose your own technique. Another one, that's another go wild card. That's another go wild card. Okay, how many wild cards are there in here? Here we go. Rub gesso or paint in random places with your fingers. So you can see these are all ideas for, if you got journaler's block kind of a thing. So you could take these. It might be fun to just shuffle them up and randomly throw them on the floor. Yeah, that's a good way to do it too. Oh, shoot. This is awkward. Oh, okay, got it. Shuffle them up and deal yourself out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and use those as a basis for an art journal page. So that's one reason why I got them. I got them also not so much to inspire me, although I'm sure they will. I got them to inspire the people that take my once a month art journaling class because I'm thinking of designing a class around this. I would go around and maybe give each person 3 cards or have them pick 3 cards and say, okay, those are the bases. Now, if they get a card they don't like, they can trade. Something like that. Have a little fun with it. I don't know. It's a half-cooked idea in my head. But to be honest, I'm running out of techniques to show or to feature in these classes because I've been doing the classes for, I think we've moved on to 2 years now. And, you start to run out of things. So this might be good inspiration. They weren't particularly cheap. They come from the States, and I think with the shipping and everything like that and the exchange rate, I think they cost me about $50. So it's not cheap. But, and when they come in this little bag. Ain't that cute? Yeah. So anyways, that was one thing new. What else did I get that was new? Well, Christmas. Okay. Now, Walter and I do not usually give each other much for Christmas. But is there something about Christmas Day getting up and you don't get anything? There's nothing under the tree. Even though you're an adult, even though if I want something, I'll get it for myself. Same with him. I don't need somebody else to buy it for me. But it's just nice to have something, a little something. So we do. Usually it involves candy. And mine did. Walter got me a lot of candy. Like I need it. I haven't exercised in 5 days because of everything that's been going on here, and I just haven't felt up to dragging my sorry butt up onto that treadmill at 7 o'clock in the morning for an hour. But I gotta get back into the habit, especially with the amount of candy that Walter gave me. So he got me some of my favorites. He got me a whole bunch of them. They're called Big Turks. They are chocolate covered Turkish delight. It's really, though, not Turkish delight like the real Turkish delight. It's more of a jellified, is that a word? Raspberry, strawberry tasting stuff with just chocolate on it, but they're good. They're good. And he also got me my favorites, 2 boxes of the Laura Secord jellies. These are my favorite. I love these. So every year he usually does get me a couple of boxes. Actually, I think you get a discount if you buy 2. I don't care. They're mine. Oh, mine. And they're just pure sugar. So in fact, calories. In 4 pieces, and they're not very big, Well, there's absolutely no fat. Well, isn't that nice? Of course, there's 130 calories, so in 4 pieces. I can just sit down and just put a whole box of these in my mouth in one go. Yeah, that's the way I would look. And he also got me a large Cadbury chocolate bar, the English Cadbury. I don't know if you know this or not, but Cadbury, I think it's based out of their headquarters is in England, but they have factories all over the world. But their formulas for making the chocolate, and the reason I know this is because we were on a tour, actually we were on a tour in New Zealand, I think, and one place we went to, that's where the Cadbury factory was, and they told us that the American Cadbury chocolate bars do taste different from the ones that are made for England or the ones that are made for Aussies and New Zealanders. It has to do with the content of sugar. There is less sugar in the English one than there is, I think, in the ones that they sell in Australia and New Zealand, and there's a lot more sugar in the ones they sell here in North America, because they gear it towards the taste of the demographic. So I think that's why the English Cadbury chocolate bars just seem to taste better, because it's a little less sugar, and at least I think they taste better from that. And so there is a store, well, there's several around, where you can get the English ones. They import them, and so Walter got me a great big one. I've got it tucked away in my drawer for what I call chocolate emergencies. You should always have chocolate for chocolate emergencies. This house is full of chocolate right now. I have chocolate Santa Clauses. I got a big box of chocolates from the little family-owned chocolate store that's here in Oshawa that make great chocolate. And of course, I passed those around last night after dinner, but everybody was so stuffed, I still have a full box of chocolates. And just talking about Christmas, dinner went over well. Everything turned out good. The turkey was delicious. Walter did the turkey. And Walter also did creme brulee using the circulator that's for sous vide cooking. And I think I have a video of that. I'm just checking in my notes. Yeah, I do. So Walter did this in the sous vide, and I've got a short little video clip showing him doing this, so I'm going to insert that right here.
It's like watching paint dry.
You videoing now?
Yeah.
Okay, so Walter's videoing his creme brulee in the sous vide method.
It's not that exciting.
So, the other thing that Walter got me was 3 books about sewing. They've got some great ideas in each of these books, and they're made for beginners. They explain a whole lot of things about sewing machines and about sergers especially. And so I've marked pages. I've gone through them already and marked projects in here that I think I might want to try. I think my next project's going to be making a craft apron. I'm going to give that a try. So I just have to figure out what I'm going to use for material, and I want it to be a fairly heavy material, and I also want it to be washable. So I'll have to go to my fabric store. In fact, I just saw an email this morning that my fabric store is having a huge sale on this week. Something like if you buy 1 meter of certain fabrics, you get 2 meters free. So I'm gonna have to check that out because I'm into that. So yeah, these are great books, and I'm going to enjoy reading them, and as it's all part of my education, teaching myself how to sew. I do want to take a class at some point in time. I just had to find one. So anyways, that was Christmas. Walter seemed to be happy with what I got him. Yes, I got him chocolate as well. He loves chocolate bark. It's not made with real bark, okay, just in case. You know, it's the stuff with almonds in it and chocolate and whatnot. He loves that, and I got him a solid chocolate letter of his name. And the reason I did that is because when we were kids, My parents used to do that. In our sock, we would get our initial of our first name in chocolate in that. And so, and over the years, Walter and I have done that with each other too. So I thought, yeah, I'll get one of those as well. So I got him his chocolate. Got him this new tool called the twister. And the twister is basically a type of, it's a powered, it's not a drill, it's like a screwdriver, a power screwdriver, but it has about umpteen, like 360 different positions it can go in. So you can get up and under cupboards and in awkward spots, and it's rechargeable and has all these bit heads, and he's into tools. So I got him that. And I also got him a new razor. Now, he will use a straight blade at times as well as electric. But this one is sort of a cross between an electric razor and a straight blade. It's powered. It looks like a straight blade, but it moves. So I got him one of those from Costco to try it out. It also has little trimmers for, you know, your mustache, your beard, for sideburns, things like that. Mustache, no. Beard, no. No sideburns, like useless to me. But Walter has all of that. Well, no beard, but he can grow one though. He did years ago. Anyways, that's a topic for another time, maybe on a Stephen and Walter Live. So anyways, I got him that, and yeah. So it was a nice Christmas, and everybody had a good time. And God, the one thing I hate about having Christmas dinner or any kind of party here is clean up later. I need a maid because it takes hours. And since we do everything downstairs in our rec room, everything has to be taken upstairs to clean it and put it away. And so you're constantly going up and down, up and down. I said to Walter last night, you know, maybe we should take the workshop and my annex and convert that into a kitchen. We'll put like the stove, a fridge, a dishwasher, there'll be a sink in there, all that kind of stuff. Second kitchen, so when we do things like this, we don't have to go up and downstairs. Yeah, that would actually be a really good idea. I don't think it's going to happen ever with that. But in my fantasy, in my dreams, I think about things like that. Of course, then you could make the whole place into sort of an apartment and rent it. No, not going there. Not doing that. Okay, let's move on. I'm rambling here. Okay, events in the past week. Well, I've already talked about Christmas. And if you saw Stephen and Walter live the other day, we talked about our anniversary dinner. But and we had a nice time. Walter went all out on the menu. We did escargot, and then we did surf and turf. So we had lobster tails with steak, asparagus, and he cooked all of this. Well, the escargot he didn't cook in this using the sous vide method, but he cooked the steak and the lobster tails and the asparagus in that, and they came out beautiful. It was perfect. Restaurant quality, I can tell you that. The lobster tails came out nice and moist, and the steak came out perfect, and the asparagus came out really great too, because one thing I don't like is asparagus that have been overcooked and they're like wilted spinach. I like them a little bit crisp, just a little bit crisp, and these came out perfect with it. And he did baked potatoes in the Instapot, and those came out perfect as well. It was a great meal with it. It took a while. Well, we weren't going anywhere. But yeah, it was great. So that was our anniversary. And in fact, I'm going to, just so you can see what we were having, I'm going to insert right here a little clip about our dinner.
So Walter is cooking our anniversary dinner, and we're starting off with escargot done in keg style sauce. They have a really neat sauce if you've never eaten at the keg and never had the escargot that we really like. And about a couple of years ago I found this recipe on the internet, and Walter's duplicating it tonight, and it's supposed to taste pretty much the way the keg one does, but we had to substitute a couple of ingredients because we didn't have all the right ones, so we'll see how that is. And then over here, the main course he has with the circulator, he is sous viding a steak, and we're gonna have lobster tails with that, so surf and turf, along with asparagus, which he's going to do in this as well. And then we've got 2 potatoes out, which he's going to do in the Instapot as well. So it's a sort of a progressive kind of thing as the evening goes on, munching away. And so here's the final product. There's the steak. The steak came out perfect. Now, some people might not like it that red, but we do, so that's good. And the lobster tail, we've already started eating. I almost forgot to take this video. Came out perfect. It's not rubbery. It's very tender and juicy. The baked potato done in the Instapot turned out well. And the asparagus were also done in the sous vide. And they came out pretty good. They're a little crisp, but I don't mind that. That's okay. And of course we have our ghee, which is clarified butter for the whole bit. So it all came out very nice. And of course we're having a little wine too.
So what else has been happening this week? Okay, so I want to talk about somebody that I have mentioned before in my vlog, and I had reviewed months ago his YouTube channel. This is that young man named Tanner Bell, and if you remember, and I'm sure you've probably seen some of his videos on YouTube, he's just a young guy, about 19 years old, something like that. He has his own little business, I think, and he actually is an ambassador for Cricut. He does a lot of videos about Cricut products and how to do different things. He does a lot of DIY kinds of shows, and he even runs a couple of e-courses online. Now, I purchased both those courses. I took his first course, and it was useful. I debated it. It wasn't that expensive, $30 or something like that. And I did learn a few things. A lot of it I already knew, but, you know, never say never, because, you know, you can always learn something. So I signed up for his next course. And the first week of it, he had videos. Now, half of the videos that were on it in the first week were a repeat from his other course, just in case people hadn't taken that course to, you know, bring them up to speed, sort of a thing. And some new ones. And then the promise that in the next week there would be more videos. There weren't. There hasn't been any new videos in about a month. Now, he has been busy. He's been establishing a membership site where, you know, he's for a certain amount of money every month, you'll get some original SVG graphics and things that you can use with your Cricut Maker or whatever. Fine, I get it. It's Christmas time too. It's a busy time. Oh, someone's calling me on my phone. Just a minute. Wouldn't you know, last week's vlog I get a phone call for duct cleaning. This time I get somebody on my cell phone, which when my cell phone rings, there's only one person that has my number, and that's Walter. So I knew it wasn't Walter because he's still upstairs in bed. No, somebody with a wrong number, and I think she's called me yesterday as well. She's having a little trouble with her fingers, I think, dialing the right number. Anyways, so I'm talking about Tanner Bell. So I wrote to him about the fact that I was a little disappointed. I hadn't seen any new videos for a while. You know, I said, I understand that you're probably busy with this other stuff, but you know, I paid money for it. You made the promise. I'm hoping you're going to deliver the goods, sort of thing. Didn't get an answer, which I found was a little unusual because I had written to him before and I got an answer almost immediately back from his people or whatever. So I waited it out a little longer. I waited another week. I sent, in the period of about 2 weeks, 3 emails. And each one was getting a little bit more bitchy that I was saying, because I was getting a little concerned about this. Also, I was thinking, you know, I was half tempted to join his membership site, but it's pricey. And I got thinking, if he can't deliver on these videos for this course I've already signed up for, what's it going to be like in his membership one, which costs a lot more money? So I didn't sign up for it, but I did actually mention that to him in an email. Well, I finally sent a final email, but I sent it kind of in a roundabout way. I had gotten an email from him. It was his mailing list kind of a thing for his DIY projects and things like that. He sends them out usually once a week. And I thought I would just reverse engineer it. I would just send back to that address, which was different from the address I'd been sending it to before, which I know I had the right address because I double checked it for those other emails, so that wasn't why I wasn't getting an answer. He was definitely getting them. And so I basically laid it on the line that I have a YouTube channel. I review sites on it. I had reviewed his in the past and gave it a very favorable review, but I was going to mention my concerns that I'm having now on my vlog. I got an email back real quick, very apologetic. And basically it had been because he's been so busy doing these other things, but he was going to promise to get those videos up and that and everything. He was in the final editing stage and whatnot. And here's why I'm talking about him. I am not complaining about him. I've laid the groundwork for you. I've told you what the problem was. He rectified the problem once he knew there was a problem. And I will give him a lot of credit for that. He personally, it's his company, it's his reputation, so he personally reached out to me, apologized for that, reassured me that more videos were coming, and he turned around and he said if I wanted a refund from the course, no problem, or he'd give me a monthly membership to his new membership club. So I said, yeah, I'll take the membership. So I got the membership and I immediately downloaded what he had for that month. Now I don't know if I'm only getting 1 month for this or if I'm getting other months. I don't know. I'll see. But the whole point is he's got it figured out now at a young age. If you're going to be successful in business, I think you have to treat every customer like they're the only customer that you have and make everything personable and friendly and reach out to people. And he could have just left the email and said, oh, I'm so sorry, it's coming, please be patient. No, he said what was happening, he explained the problem, and he offered compensation for it. I wasn't looking for compensation, but he did that. And in my estimation of him and of his YouTube channel and everything else, it just went up. That's because he took responsibility and was doing something about it, and he wasn't just paying me lip service. So that's why I mention it. So if you haven't checked out Tanner Bell's YouTube channel, do so. I have a link down below for his website, and it'll link to the YouTube channel as well. And as I said, every week he comes out with DIY ideas and things like that, so he's a good source of inspiration. Okay, so what else has been going on? Well, it's been snowing. You know, about a week ago I said it looked like we're going to have a white Christmas, and then it all melted and it started to rain, and so that flushed away the snow. And then they were predicting that we were probably not going to get snow for Christmas. Fine, not unusual. But weathermen really haven't got a clue. They really don't. Nature does what nature wants to do. So nature came along and dumped on us for a couple of days. We got a fair amount of snow, and it was a nice white Christmas. And it looks pretty. And at Christmas time, that's, for us in the Northern Hemisphere, that's what we like to see. But then it can melt the next day and go away and never see it again until next Christmas. That would be nice, because this is what it usually looks like when you drive in it. So I've got a little clip here. Walter and I were going off to a store, and I took a little clip with my camera to show you what it's like to drive in Canada in snow.
Okay, so we thought you'd like to see what it looks like to drive in the snow in Canada. And this is what it looks like. And we're having a light little blizzard right now. And you can see they really plow our roads where we live. Well, not. Well, they'll get around to it once spring comes. Of course, by then it'll have melted. But anyways, this is going to be a white Christmas for sure.
So if you've never driven in snow before, because you come from some place that doesn't see snow, that's what it's like. That is not like driving in a blizzard. And in the Northern Hemisphere, we've all driven in blizzards before, and they can be scary. That was just nothing. But I just thought you'd be interested in seeing what it looks like. Okay, now here's the big thing of the week. I washed my iPhone. You're saying, what, you dropped it in the sink or something? No, I put it through the washing machine. I had spilt some stuff on my jeans, and I thought, ah, crap. So I just took them off, threw them in the washing machine with a few other things I had laying around, and set it on to the wash cycle. I keep my cell phone in my pocket. I didn't even think to take it out to check for that. Wasn't in my mind, because I just, oh crap, I've got this crap on me, into the washing machine. So when the wash cycle was over and I'm pulling the stuff out of the washing machine, I hear clunk clunk. I'm going, what the heck is that? And I find these little glasses. Now, where did these come from? This is my cell phone. On the back, I had bought these little plastic magnifiers that you know, if you're out and you don't have your glasses, you just put them on your nose. Little, isn't that cute? Little, peas knees, whatever they call them. And so you can read a menu or something like that. And then they just slide. I don't know, kind of hard to see. They just slide. They just slide into this little thing on the back of my cell phone. I found them in the washing machine. And I went, well, how the heck did those get? Oh my God. I grabbed my jeans. I put my hand in the pocket of the jeans and I pulled out my phone. Of course, the phone is dead. Okay. But then I remember reading about if you've dropped your phone in like a swimming pool or the toilet or something, to put it in a bowl of rice, of dry rice, and leave it there. It said, no, I looked it up on the internet too at this stage. Leave it in that for 12 to 24 hours and it may dry it out and it may work. And I did a search on Google for people who have washed their cell phones. I'm not the first to do it. A lot of people have done it. But a lot of people said they had success with drying it out in the rice and everything like that. So I packed it up with rice and the whole bit. And next day, left it there for about 24 hours. I took it out. And of course, it wouldn't come up to power because I wasn't plugged in. And I figured the battery, well, if it's going to work at all. So I plugged it in, and lo and behold, the screen came up and it started to charge. Now, it works fine, except, and I don't know if I can show this to you, it's not very noticeable on this screen. Here, let me go to a different screen. Let's see, if I go there, I don't know if you can see it, but it's all streaky inside. It's inside that it's like this. I mean, I can still use it. It seems to be working fine. I can still see things on it. It's a little annoying that the screen has this cloudy business to it, but how long is it going to last? I mean, I've had this phone for over 2 years to start with. It's an iPhone 6. They've come out with the iPhone 10s. Walter has been itching to get an iPhone 10, but he really was holding off until I said I was going to get an iPhone 10. Those iPhone 10s, for the biggest storage in it, and there's no such thing as fooling around with small storage on cell phones. I'm sorry, you'll always fill it up, no matter how big it is. So the bigger the better. And I do use my phone for doing, excuse me, for doing videos and things like that. So you want the best. Plus it's got a better camera in it and blah, 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 blah. But we buy our phones outright, unlocked. We have pay-as-you-go kind of service. And the Canadian government just passed a law saying that all service providers that sell phones, like Bell and that, have to sell them unlocked. Before, it was like you got a phone from Bell, but the only way you'd get the phone is you had to have one of their plans in your phone, and the cost of your phone was built into that plan. And so by the time you were finished with that 2-year, 3-year plan, your phone cost double of what it would cost if you bought it outright. So anyways, I said to Walter, all right, it's working and the whole bit, but I'm going to bite the bullet. I want a new phone. So Walter went online to Apple and he ordered each of us. He did this yesterday, Christmas Day. He's ordered us each a new iPhone 10, and we're picking them up today. We could have had them sent to the house, or we can go to where the nearest Apple store is to us, which is not close. It's about 45 minutes away. Anyways, closer to Toronto. And we'll go in, and the phone is supposed to be there. And of course, we had to buy cases for them. And we also got their insurance coverage, which is expensive. On the iPhone 10, it's $249 Canadian for the insurance. But then again, you know how much these phones are costing? Each one with tax, with a new case, with the insurance, is just slightly over $2,000 each. This is an expensive toy, but it was inevitable that we'd be probably getting one because Walter wants one, and I knew if he came home with an iPhone 10, I'd be immediately wanting one too. So $4,000 later, we were going to have 2 new iPhone 10s. But anyways, my recommendation is check your pockets. Don't wash your cell phone. It's just not good. Not good. Okay, so what's coming up? Okay, New Year's Eve falls this Sunday. And so Walter and I, that's usually when we do Walter and Live. And we're not going anywhere on New Year's Eve. So we're going to have our own little party with you on New Year's Eve. We're not going to go to midnight. Okay, so don't panic. We'll come on at about the same time, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for Stephen and Walter Live. And maybe we'll have some champagne. You could have some with us if you wish. Maybe some hats. I don't know. Be festive. And so we are going to do Stephen and Walter Live this Sunday, New Year's Eve, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So I hope you can join us. If you're like us and celebrate New Year's Eve at home, rather than going out to some wild party where you can't drink because you can't drive, and so you have to get a taxi, and then you have a hangover the next day, and is it really worth it? Nope. So we'll have our own little party. So hope to see you there then. Okay, so I think that's it for this week. Long vlog, but aren't they all? So I hope you had a good Christmas. I hope you find lots of bargains on Boxing Day, if you're one of those kind of people that likes to do that. And we'll see you for Stephen and Walter Live, New Year's Eve, and I'll see you next week for my usual vlog. So take care and enjoy the rest of the holiday. Bye-bye.